Okay, so today we're troubleshooting a surface model. There's a helmet that the problem was it is not closing into a solid. If we look at this, you can see it's all surfaces. So the problem is to figure out why it is not closing. So I'm going to go through all the steps that I would check for a file. This is not my file. This is one of my students' file. As you can see, it's a very interesting helmet design, and we have half of it here. So I'm going to go through a few things to check. First, I'm looking at the surface bodies. There's 33 surface bodies. Looks like they've all been knitted together. So one thing we usually want to build half of a symmetrical geometry and mirror it over and basically knit them together to create a solid. But it looks like this person already built the edges, most likely because they couldn't make a solid and they were trying to just make a solid on a half. So I'm going to go through before their last step. These look like these are the last pieces. So I'm kind of going to turn off all these ones from the surfaces. So we don't have those. Looks like those are gone. And this one, I'm just gonna hide this one. Okay. I see a weird surface in here. Oh wow, okay. So you can see a lot of problem here. There's an opening over here. There's an extra surface in the middle over there. And there's, oh, I see. This is supposed to be a hole. Okay. So if that's supposed to be a hole, then we just have an open surface here, but then we are sharing surfaces, and that's not good. Are these connected? Okay, I can see what's happening. So there is almost like a vent hole happening over here, which is going to be interesting design, but it's not going to be easy to 3D print either because that creates an undercut over here. Okay. Let's fix this part first. I can see there's an opening here. That will go to fill surface. Anytime we have surfaces that narrow into a point, fill surface will do a better job than other features. We can see automatically built that. If we can, we're gonna set actually all of these. I'm gonna say all. Let's do tangency. Okay, that one is closed now. And I'm gonna keep looking at this geometry. It's the first time I'm opening a file, so I kind of need to understand. There looks like there's an overlap in surface over here. I have to see on the inside. Okay, so we need to make sure there is two surfaces. This looks like there's only one, so I'm gonna hide this one too. Okay. Oh, I cannot hide that one. Okay, so this is another issue because if I do a section view and I look, to create a solid, you need a thickness. But you can see surface, there's no thickness to it, it's just one surface, right? So we need to get rid of this one. We can offset it for 0 to create what it is, and then delete the original, and then keep the copy of what it is. So I see this one as well. I just want to double check. see if also this one. Okay, now this one has a thickness, we can see. That should be fine. Looking at the bottom. That one also has a thickness, we can see that. Okay, it's really good to just do the section view and go through. Sometimes there are floating surfaces from trims or splits that we don't know they exist. So this is a good way to actually try to understand the geometry. Okay, so I have one more thing to fix. Let's see. I don't know if this person needs that surface or there's gonna be a hole. So the way to do it would be to create an offset surface. And then we'll put it for 0. So we're literally copying that surface. I wrote O. We're copying that surface. I'll leave it here and I'm gonna go to my surfaces. This is the one I just made. I'm gonna name it backup surface. This may be just for like having a vent in a rendering for a key shot. So as long as it doesn't have to be printed, we're okay. And if it does need to be printed, that surface could be taken after. Okay. Now, when turn off the backup surface that I made, you want to keep that. I'm going to delete this face. I couldn't hide this one because it's connected to a whole bunch of other things. So now that's deleted, it's closed, and I know I have a backup just in case we need it. Okay, now let me see if I can try and knit things together. I haven't seen the rest of this form. It's a very interesting form. That's the back part. The transition between surfaces could be slightly better. Okay. There's a lot happening over here. So let's see, there's patches. Let's try to knit things together and see if we get a lot of gaps. So I'm just gonna go to knit and try to figure out. Okay, so that was one surface on its own. Okay, these are all on their own. I try to do this all the time so I can also understand. This cannot be joined. Manifold. Okay, so these we're gonna get rid of. And we're only gonna do the ones that work. So these are looks like it's all one surface. Try to join these to it. Okay, that worked out. There's no gap, you guys can see that. Okay. Right, just gonna knit this for now. And I'm gonna make another knit with the rest of the stuff. Um, adding these. So the midline is really important. If you have anything passing through the center point or before it, that would also be a trouble for closing surfaces. So that will be something I will check after. I wonder if these are added. Looks like they are added. Okay. I'm gonna try to add this one. So at the same time, I should be looking at number of surfaces I have. Still 55 surfaces left. A lot of them are hidden, meaning We don't need them, but let's see. That's the main surface. I think this is missing. Looks like these are missing. See a patch over there to figure out what it is. Um, all right, so that is not a clean surface. I have to see if that gives an issue. If it does, then we have to come cut this part and rebuild that surface. Okay, so far we're okay. We have knitted all of these together. We have the inside, the left, and that. Let's try knitting those. Since it gave me trouble the first time I tried to knit this part, I want to try to go a little bit at a time. Seems okay so far. Okay, let's look at our knit surface. Okay, I'm only missing the bottom. Maybe I'll just go back and add the bottom to this. So we won't have too many knit surfaces. Okay. And I'm checking the gap. Usually if there's gaps, this will show up and I can close the gaps, but there's no gap. So press OK. All right. Want to try? Ooh, I see an opening here. What's happening? And I see an opening there. Did we miss a surface? Okay, I think this is a surface. Okay, so there was a surface here. There's a hole there. That. There's another offset. We don't need that. Which one is this? Not mirrored. No. So I'm trying to figure out where is this coming from. There's another offset. I think that's supposed to be part of it. Right now, we have a hole over here. And we have an opening. I don't know what that hole is about. Looks like we also have a hole right here. It might be a patch. Okay, so if it's just the indent, let's see. The one thing I'm concerned about, if this was supposed to touch that and these are supposed to come to that. We can try to do this. And do a loft. If we can do that, we don't really need the surface. We'll have to restart. I'm just gonna go hide this one. Okay, let's try to loft this to this. Actually, maybe I can do one. The trouble is this surface is rounded here, but that is sharp. That is not rounded. So maybe I can actually find this sketch and try to add a couple of fillets to it. So that way we have similar number of sections. Right now this is 4 section. If we add these two, it would be 6 section. It'd be a lot easier to connect them. This one is working, this one is not working. Oops. Just gonna remove the convert entity cannot be flooded. Let's try 2 maybe. Okay, now it works. Maybe 4. Oh, too much. 3. Say 2.25. That'll work. Okay. So now, we have similar number of sections. Oh, this is hiding. This actually looks like a solid now. Okay, the delete face went away. I think this was the delete face. Alrighty. Now we can try to loft these together. Let's use the loft. I'm gonna do a selection manager, pick everything. See if we can just go with one loft. And for the second portion, I'm gonna start exactly where I started on the other one. Last piece. So that needs to connect to that. It is lofting, but as you can see, it's running into the other surface. Okay, it might be way too much for one piece. So I'm just gonna do small portion at a time. I do this to that. That's an easy loft. My loft from these 3 to those 3 and kind of have it match the surface up here. So I'm gonna use again selection manager. Here is this 3. 2, another selection manager. Again, we're gonna keep similar number of sections. Another 3. So it's doing the loft, which is nice, but it's running into that surface. Maybe that this hole is way back. Let's try to put some constraint on the start. I'm gonna do tangency curve. Well, it's going this way. I don't want that direction. We want another direction. Okay. Because it's going to this direction, it's taking this surface and run the other surface. So I'm actually gonna only do this edge to this edge. And try to get the curvature that I need. Oh, not liking any of these. Let's try boundary surface. Do this to this. We'll flip this. Then we'll say curvature to face. It's the same thing. It goes off. Okay. Selection manager. Let's try to do these 2. And okay, much better. Hopefully this time we can push this up. We cannot. We do tangency. We cannot do that here. All right. So then the reality is we can't have a smooth transition. We just have to going to have to loft this. And from this side, I have to push this up a bit. So it curves up over here. I do this little at a time again. Loft this edge to this edge. And I'm gonna pick any edge that we have existing as a guide curve. So it's connecting to that. Looks like I should do this last because this is running into that surface. So here. And try it one more time. If this doesn't work, I'm going to move this hole farther up. Manager, I'm going back to my original loft. And then I'm going to go, this time the start was on this side. So I'm going to go to the start and do directional vector. Yeah, what is our direction? We can pick this for direction. No, it's tangency doesn't work. So none. Let's go on the bottom one. Let's see if tangency helps it. It doesn't. It pushes it to the side. Right. I think the only way to do that, to have like a clean connection from that to that at this point, I can either do a guide curve, curving this. That might be the cleanest way to do it. Or I could just move this hole up. So the harder way is to actually add a section, a guide curve. So I'm going to use a 3D sketch and go from a spline from here to here. And I'm going to select this and this. Let's see if we can see it through tangency to the surface. Good. So I have hole to hole. This is going under slightly. See if we can move this. Can't move much. All right. Now let's try this. And maybe I'll have another guide curve there while I'm making these guide curves. 3D sketch. Again, I want to come at the end of this curve, same position over here. And I'm going to select surface and that and have them be tangent. So it pushes that up a bit. I'll say okay. All right, and let's try to do one more surfacing. It's hard to see these. One more loft from the beginning. Selection manager. See. I'm going to try to do all three. If not, I'll just do that one flat surface. But now we have guide curves, so it should really push this up. Here is this, and that. And the guide curves. Oh wait, forgot to press OK. All right, now the guide curves hopefully pushes it up. Okay. I think they're selected. They look okay, good. Looks like that surface is not hitting. Perfect. And now that we have these two surfaces, we can fill the other one. Or we can do a loft and kind of have a guide surface there. I'm gonna try fill. Usually does a quick, clean job. So we pick the edge. Okay, it's almost like a negative surface down there. Say okay. And another fill surface. So definitely there's other ways to do this. We could have done the fillets as a fill surface, had a little bit more control over them, but it's all fighting it. Okay. I turned on everything. As you can see, this is the original sketch and all the sketches in here. So when I turn this off, I believe we should have everything now. So one more time, just gonna merge everything. Now I see there's two gaps. So let's close those and hopefully if I mirror this over to the right plane and picking the bodies, we only have one body. So this is mirrored over, but the main goal is to see if we can make it solid because right now all we have is surfaces that cannot be printed. And let's double check that. So the last knit will be knitting the two halves together. Okay, so usually when you have gaps, gap control on, and it shows you a gap, that means there is a part that's open, right? When you have a gap, you cannot create a solid. If you uncheck this, the create solid option comes on. If the gap is small enough, you can make a solid, but if it's too large, it will not allow you. So let's check this. You see that? So it doesn't allow us. It will probably knit them together, but that's not useful. And if we knit it with the gap, then there's nothing else to create a solid with. So at this point, I'm just going to go before my mirror and I'm going to save this file. Just making sure I'll have this file. Also wanted to go to my last knit, make sure because I selected things. There may have been things that I didn't need in there, like maybe floating surfaces. So I know I created these surfaces. Let's see. This one. So 3 and 1. Okay. Where is the other surfaces that combined? Okay. Let me try the mirror one more time. And the knit. There's still a gap. Yeah. Okay, so now we need to do we need to check where are our open surfaces. Let's see. So I'm going to go to evaluate and click on check and click on surfaces. So we want to see open or invalid surfaces. There's going to be, so the tricky thing about this is going to show also hidden surfaces. So we just have to figure out if it's a hidden surface or not. Okay, that's definitely a hidden surface. So we don't worry about that one. That's it. Okay, these are all hidden surfaces. Okay, this one also I think is hidden because we don't have it now. right? Is this a double surface? No. Okay. All right. Here. This is important. We have to check it out. Maybe it is not completely coming to the midpoint. So that would be something to check. Let's see if there's anything else. I think this that surface is hidden, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Say, bring this closer. I believe this is a hidden surface as well. Yeah. Wow, there's a lot of them. Okay, so a better thing to do is I have the file saved. I'm going to delete the surfaces we don't need because so I only have this backup surface that I wanted. What is this one? How come that's not in our next? Okay, I need to double check and then the last knit and make sure we add these two in there too. So I'm gonna go back in. That might have been the issue, and we can just easily resolve it. Yes, and yes. Fine. Okay, if I now go to my mirror and try to knit, this happens all the time. One half to the other half. No, the gap's still there. I have a feeling it's something in the middle that's stopping it. Okay, I'm going before the mirror. And I'm gonna keep that backup surface. Oh, what is this one? Did I not add this one? Let's go to this knit again, add this portion. Maybe that will fix something. Here's our mirror. Because I choose half of it for the mirror, I know every time I make an edit on this, the mirror will be updated. So it's not a big concern. Still here. I'm gonna press OK on this. Let's see. Just so I have the feature. And I'll just go before it. So once I fix things, it will be better. Let's save this file and go through all the extra stuff and delete them. So we're gonna keep the backup and then we're gonna get rid of everything else that's not serving us. Actually, oh, we want delete bodies. All right, now we have one surface and that's a backup surface, which we don't need at this point. So let's run the evaluate, check, and see whether our open surfaces. Okay, now I have two, which is a lot more manageable. Okay, this one we know is our hidden one. Second one, okay, this apparently there's a problem with it. It's right here. Okay, so I think that's the main thing to know. There's space inconsistencies. This one. Usually we can still make a solid with the face inconsistency. It's just good to know what's happening. The inside one is a complicated model. And that one. Okay. So main thing I want to worry about is this right here. I might just try to patch it. It might be too small. So if I look from the bottom, and that's about it. It looks like they're all on the line. So here's a trick we do to make sure everything comes to the center. I'm gonna go to extended surfaces, and I'm gonna try to, probably not that one. I would do all of them, but right now it's telling me there's an issue here. So I might just as well focus on this part and see this one didn't extend. Because if this extends, I can extend, but this one I won't. So I will have to do it separately. As a rebuild, you don't need it this much, maybe a 0.1 even will do. Okay, now here, let's try to also extend this. As long as it's 2.1, maybe 0.05, nothing. Okay, so there's an issue with that. Why wouldn't it let us extend the surface? The other way is to actually do a convert entity and extrude that surface. Let's see if we can do extrude surface. So this should be on the right plane, or I'll do a 3D sketch. Sketch, 3D sketch. I'm gonna pick this edge, do a convert, and feature extrude surface. It doesn't know which direction to go, so we need to pick a plane as a direction. This way. Okay. I'll go add this portion to it too, because this doesn't look very. Another convert. So now there's two of them. There we go. All right. Well, what happened to our extruded surfaces? Oh, it's there. So I also need to extrude this surface. One more time, going back to my sketch. Also adding that. Hopefully we won't break anything. Good. Now we're going to use the trim tool with a right plane and get rid of everything that's extra. We're going to have standard, right plane, and remove. So very weird. Oh, why not? Section. Now let me trim these. Let's do a knit of all of them before I trim them. Merge. Okay. So now if I trim them, I should be able to trim those as well. Yeah, now it's got trimmed. Okay, maybe we can do. Let me double check, see if we have any extra surfaces here that we added. No, there's a trim surface, which is our whole model, and there's our backup surface. So the mirror should be okay. I'm gonna go back to the mirror and go back to our net. And let's see if there's gap. Oh, there is a gap. I have to figure out where this gap is. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Then go back to my extended surfaces and extend again one more time this and this and that. It's all gonna get cut anyway. Hopefully now. Gap. All right, the gap is gone. Okay, so we figured out where the gap problem was. And hopefully now, uh, fail- figure out where is our open surfaces. Why is it failing? Let's run our check. Evaluate surfaces. All right. So we still have an issue over here. Is there extra surface? Okay, we might have to cut that and remake that. And one more time. Okay, that's just the mirror, I think, of the same one. Oh, no, it's a different one. This one's a hidden one, so it's okay. Let's go before in our mirror and try to fix this issue. Oh, I can see what's happening here. Very complicated surface. All right, so let's try to trim. So I'm gonna sketch on this 3D sketch, and it would be spline on surface. Because I want to make sure I'm on that surface. And from here to here, I'm going to trim. Hopefully we can trim with this. Close and say surface trim. No, that is not the sketch. I have to look find my sketch now. Is that wrong? Yeah, it does. Okay. Remove surfaces. Like to look at things. Okay, this is not very effective. How is this made? This is a boundary surface. So I'm just gonna delete this face. Let's delete. Or maybe I can keep this one and delete this one and do a fill surface on that one. Let's see which one is a cleaner one. This is a clean one, so I'm just going to delete this one. As you can see, you have to go through multiple things. Oh, multiple ways of doing the same thing. So let's try a fill surface. This does look extra, but if the full surface will do it, then I won't trim it. There is an end point here somewhere, which is hard to see. Okay, here we go. I can hit it from here. Okay. Um, let's do. So we'll have the mirror. Actually, I have to do a knit before the mirror one more time. So knit this with that. Okay. And mirror and our last knit. Let's see if we can make a solid now. Let's double check if there's gaps. No, good. No, it still has an issue. Let's one more time look at what the issue is. So evaluate, check. All right, there's one more issue. So what is this one? Oh, it's on the back side. Is there a gap or is it overlap? Okay, let's look at this. I think there's an overlap on our mirror. So again, I'm gonna go to my extended surfaces. I think I should have just done all of these. So we wouldn't have any issue. Okay. I think this one's done as well. This one's done pretty good. Hmm. This one doesn't do it. Interesting. Will not do it as well. No. Can I keep this? Anything failed? I do need this one because that was where the issue came from. Let me keep this. All right, and hopefully, I go to mirror. I can see there's an issue here. There's an extra. So let's go to my trim. On the trim, clear. Let's do remove. Mhm. Double checking, making sure I'm getting all the extra stuff. This is the tricky part over there, trying to not get that wrong. Looks slightly better. Yeah, so we created this portion. Just we need to make sure it's actually knitted. Oh, good. Yeah. And then one more time, checking if we can create a solid. Oh, we did it. That was the issue. There we go. Now we have it. Nice. So, the only thing I don't have is this surface, right? So on my mirror, I could also mirror this and then just thicken it on the inside, or I could hide it. So I'm going to show this and do a thicken. Surfaces, thicken. If I want this to touch, so 0.1 is way too much. I'm going to go to both sides and 0.08. Maybe I'll go to the inside. Right, I'll go to the inside. Okay. It is not a strong connection. So if we do want to keep this, we need to actually fillet this in. That. And I should have done this before my mirror. Actually, it's fine. I'm going to mirror this over the right plane. Features. Actually, it's going to be a body, not a feature. Okay. And we can try to combine these bodies. Here's a solid body, metal chip. They are touching, so they should combine. And it cannot. Okay, let's try one at a time. And try this one with this one. If it doesn't work. Another way to make sure they're connecting is I can pick faces and say move face. So go insert, face, move. So I can just push these out a bit. So it's connecting into the body. You can see it's pushing out 0.1. We don't need that much, 0.05. Going all around. It's going to be on the back side, so it's not going to really affect our surface here. But it's going to show our connection slightly. And maybe I could combine them now. Let's see, combine this. Control that. add. Okay, now it's combining. And this mirror needs to be, I'm just gonna delete it and oh, I need to do the mirror after the move face. So let's see. Yeah. And I wanted to put it here. Okay. So now on the combine, I can actually add this one too, most likely. All right, now they're all the same body and they're going to print. Um, and the rest are extra. So this file is done. Thank you for listening. And double checking everything. Yes, that's great. And turn off these lines. Which is harder to see when it's turned off. And maybe just add a color so we can see what's the final look. Try red, that one. And this one. And then we'll do a black image. There's a lot happening to this. Mm, one, maybe to the surface. It's a faster way to do it because I want to paint a whole bunch of surfaces. It's to do it from here. Also, mhm, color. Right. right, I'm not gonna spend too much time on this. You can see now the form a lot more clearly. Looks great. Uh, nicely designed piece. Surfaces and connection could be improved, obviously, but overall, it's a really nice design study. All right, here we go. Let's save this file. And return it to its owner, which is Shane. He's the designer and one of our students.